It will take you at least 10 years to become the best engineer in your field. But in this podcast, it will only take you 10 minutes. Welcome to the Best Engineer podcast. Today we're here with Layan, a third year electrical and renewable energy engineering student at UDST Qatar. Layan applies electrical engineering on projects related to sustainability and renewable energy. And just recently, she finished working on a mini prototype for a solar car. That's amazing. How did that go, Layan?
Hi, yeah. And it went well. We did face a lot of issues regarding since it's been really windy right now, and
Oh, yeah.
so yeah, so like we didn't really have enough power to operate it, but it was working fine. Thank you.
That's great. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. I'm gonna jump into the questions, okay?
Okay.
Okay. You know, when people think of electrical engineering, they often imagine big circuits, power systems, or complex devices. Sometimes the small components are the most essential. So, what's one small but essential component that most people don't think about?
Oh, I feel like MOSFETs are a very like forgotten component because like it's literally this size, but it can tolerate so much high current, so much high voltages, and we can use them in so many things. We can use them to regulate the power in the system for high switching frequencies. They are used a lot in solar inverters and for the motor controls. I have personally used them to I built this like really small prototype for a magnetic levitation train, and I used it to switch on and off the sensors, and they've been really effective, and they're really such an underrated component that people tend to forget to use and just go and jump to the really complicated components and really complicated circuits. Meanwhile, you can just like add the MOSFET, just control the voltage going in and out, and you have a perfect system.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Some people just ignore that or just don't think about it. But yeah, that's really insightful. Okay, I have this question. Okay, so basically, with the rise of smart technology and automation, sensors have become more advanced and integrated in almost every device we use. Trust me, this is a fun question. So, if you could create a brand new type of sensor, what would it detect?
Oh, that's a really fun question. I feel like we need a sensor that can detect energy losses and energy leakages in our systems. Since electrical engineering, specifically in the renewable energy sector, we focus a lot on optimizing maximum power, maximum energy with low losses. But it's a bit hard with natural resources like solar, wind, and geothermal, and all of these, since you can have a lot of energy losses along the process. I feel like a sensor that can detect that would be really helpful for us. So we can like detect where the energy losses are from and can like minimize them or just put a subsystem in there to use that energy so we can have a maximum energy with low losses.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know, I've never actually thought about this. This is quite interesting. Do you have any examples of like projects you've worked on in uni that you can use this type of sensor in this part of project?
I don't recall a project. We're not really that much into building
Yeah.
um generating systems. Usually these losses happen in systems that generate, but usually in systems that use the tidal.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, tidal waves and in heat, when you're generating energy using the heat and the wind and steam. So we learned that you can just like add a subsystem or a sub turbine, and this turbine just uses this wasted heat and just
Right.
generate again to like very smaller places like houses or just a really small factory, like a suburban factory. So yeah.
Yeah. And what's the size of that sensor? Do you imagine it to be like a whole big sensor or maybe something that we can put in like systems or something really small?
I imagine to be like, I don't know, like a medium size, maybe like the size of your hand. So you
Yeah.
can like put it on different places since energy can be lost at different stages throughout the system.
Exactly, yeah. So it can be used as in like so many different systems and so many different scenarios. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually nice. Yeah. Okay, so one last question. What's one unexpected skill, personally you, one unexpected skill that helped you in electrical engineering?
Um, I feel like unexpected skill. I've came to like notice that I've been recognizing a lot of pattern recognitions,
Mm,
and yeah, it came a lot with the troubleshooting that we do, and with the troubleshooting alone, it made me learn a lot. Like I said, the pattern recognition, and it made me gain more like insights on equipments. Whether it's not like just restricted on the wiring or the electrical parts of the equipments. We actually came to know about more of the mechanical complexions of the
yeah.
equipment. So yeah, we came to start to recognize like, oh yeah, it can be just a wiring problem. It's a mechanical problem as well. And it's
Mm,
reflected as well because now like whenever I'm having an issue, I'm like, yeah, let's troubleshoot. Let's, break it down to steps.
yeah,
Yeah, they became a very
exactly.
yeah.
And do you think this skill did it develop recently or was it like over time or did you always have that skill?
I feel like no, it's an overtime skill that like throughout the major, like right now, I feel like I'm really good in troubleshooting and detecting where the problem can happen, where it could be. It's like first year me, she would not have been guessing like, oh, well, what could have been wrong? Maybe I rewired it wrong. But right now, I feel like I can pinpoint where it can happen.
Exactly. I think it's mostly all about the mindset of how you think differently, how you troubleshoot as well. Yeah, I think I can relate to this as well. Yeah. I think that's mostly it, Layan. If you have anything else to share with us, please feel free.
No, I think that's it too. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast. This has been such an amazing experience for me.
Thank you, Layan, and thank you for sharing your thoughts with us here today. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Best Engineer podcast. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions, you can always DM us on Instagram at thebestengine2r. See you in the next episode.